How can we get better at staying focused on one thing at a time? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you one daily mental exercise that can help you stay focused on one thing at a time coming up. Hi, this is Toye Oshunbiyi, founder of Business Leaders Coach, where we help CEOs of small, medium-sized businesses grow their business and enjoy their life. Now, in my previous video, I shared the importance of why CEOs and leaders need to know how our brain functions in order to be able to lead themselves and lead others effectively. And I shared these 5 functions of the brain. And so today I want to focus on one of them that I mentioned, which is the executive function and the importance of it as we uncover the importance of understanding our brain in order to be able to self-lead more effectively. Now, as I've worked as a leadership coach, a business coach, learning and development professional, the conversations that I have are always quite common, and you might relate to this. You might find this familiar. Some will come and say they feel overwhelmed, too much to do, too little time, going from one thing to the next, and before even wrapping that thing up, I've got to attend the next thing. And even when they've blocked out time, you find out that in that time you just don't feel like you're able to engage. You feel tired, you feel exhausted, and this is happening to all of us. It's happening to me, and I've been really working on figuring this out so that I can pass this on to my own clients as well. So in this short video, let me explain what I have learned about the functions of the brain. And this is the executive function that I want to now focus on. This is found in the prefrontal cortex, and this is the frontal lobe of the brain. This is the part of our brain that can help us think about our thinking. It's called metacognition, and it's the place in our brain that helps us to be self-aware. And this is the reason why you hear people say that you cannot change until you first become self-aware. Now, I've learned a lot about this. I'm not a scientist. I'm a learning and development specialist, but obviously part of understanding how our brain functions, I've learned a lot from this fantastic book, Your Brain at Work by David Rock. It's definitely helped a lot. And in the book, he shares a metaphor that I want to use that is about our prefrontal cortex center. He said it's like a stage, but it's like a very small stage in a theater. And so I'm going to use this chess board and these chess pieces to represent this stage. And as I explain how the functions work, hopefully it'll give you insight into what you need to know about the functions of the brain, in particular the executive function. So the chess pieces are like actors that we bring up on stage. So as I've mentioned in my last video, that every time we use our brain, the executive function acts like a director, and it has to hold these actors on stage. Now, when we make decisions, what we're doing is that we're comparing. We're comparing these two actors, and that takes effort. Or when we recall, it's like we're going back into the backstage to bring these actors on stage. That's when we're recalling our thoughts. When we understand something, what we're doing is that we're connecting information that's new, that's just been brought on the stage, with information that's been in the backstage. So we have to bring both together, and then we have that aha moment. Yes, now I understand. And the last area is that when we are taking new information into our memory, then what we're doing is that we're bringing this information on the stage first, and then we're sending it backstage, and that's into our memory bank. So the challenge that we face is that each time the executive function accomplishes these tasks, energy is used. So when we have many things on our plate, when we're bombarded with so many choices or so many decisions or so many tasks, each task is taking an element of energy from us. So your director or executive function might not have the resilience to move all the pieces, all the actors off the stage in order to just focus on one thing. And this is how and why we feel overwhelmed. But there are a few things that we can begin to do to train our mental muscle. Research and science has shown now with a lot of evidence that meditation or mindfulness are exercises that we can do in order to strengthen this part of our brain. Now, I know mindfulness is quite common these days, but I want to call this mental exercise because even though some have associated mindfulness with Buddhist religion, scientists have categorically found that this is more of a mental exercise than anything to do with a spiritual or religious thing. It's more about just in the same way as how we need to exercise our muscles. It's important that we distinguish that the meditation that I'm talking about or the mindfulness that I'm talking about is simply exercising our brain. It's exercise for the brain. It's exercising our executive function. It increases the strength of our ability to use our executive function. I don't want to complicate this and think that it's got something to do with your religion or your faith or anything like that. Yes, it absolutely can help with that, but I've trained people and I've seen people sort of immediately get resistance to this because they think it's going in a different direction. So this is more in the same way as several years ago we became more aware of physical exercise, then emotional intelligence. Now we're aware that our mental exercise, in order to even help with our mental health, is really important. So why is this important for you to know about this? Well, it's important for you to know because your team members also need to know about this. You see, the strength of your executive function can determine your ability to stay focused on tasks, to say no to distractions, and more important, help you self-lead, to lead yourself better. So what does this then look like? What's the practice? It's simple, yet profound. Pay attention. Notice. Notice your breathing, for instance. Pay attention to the colors in a room, or listen to the sounds that perhaps you're not aware of. Also, being in the moment. You might want to simply be more aware when you eat, for instance. Each time you do this, what is happening is you might not be aware that each time you do this, you are strengthening your executive function, your prefrontal cortex. You'll be able to direct your focus and stay focused much longer as you exercise this. And this is what things are going to look like as we are progressing in this 21st century, in this world where we're being bombarded with so many things that are calling our attention. We have to work inside out in order to be able to resist and to be able to say, no, I am not going to click on that. No, I am not going to say yes to this. No, I'm not going to switch this on. See, this is all about our executive function. And so for you as a leader, you need to know this because your salesperson is going to need to master this skill in order to be able to pay attention to the customer. Your managers are going to need to manage this skill in order to be able to pay attention in their one-to-ones with their direct reports, because again, it's that ability to be able to focus. But here's the thing, if you are not role modeling this, if when your managers get with you, do they see this in you? Do they see you demonstrating this ability to be able to focus? That's the reason why we've got to start with the leaders of the business, then it can cascade down. So what strategy are you using to stay focused? Why don't you answer the question and put your comments in the chat below, and we can see what some of you are saying, and I would love to respond to that as well. Now, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and share. But for now, this is Toye Oshunbiyi for Business Leaders Coach. Catch you later.